I'm not a monster. I didn't kill my babies.
Now, as hard as that was, we need to talk about the girls too, okay? All right, thank you. So with the girls, talked about how they got into the truck with you and were alive. Okay. Are you 100% sure that's true? Okay.
Can we ask, go back just a second? You talked about before that Bella walked in, though, to the bedroom. Can you tell us about that before you left?
Yeah, I was just getting the sheet off the bed, and she walked in. And she had her little pink blanket with her. She's like, what's wrong? What's wrong, mommy?
And where was Shanann at that point?
Yeah, just pretty much on the bed, but she was face down.
Wrapped in the sheet? What'd you say?
It's like, she didn't feel good. That's when I tried to carry her downstairs.
Shanann?
Did you carry her like this? Did you drag her? How did you do it?
Tempted to pick her up and take her down, but I lost grip after a little while. I decided to.
Did Bella see you do that? What was Bella saying?
She started crying a little bit. She's like, what's wrong, Mom?
Well, what'd you say that time?
It's just feel good. She's a smart girl. She didn't know what's going on there.
Mm-hmm. Did she ever touch Shanann? Try to wake her up or anything? No.
She didn't want to see her or ask to see her or anything. And so that initial time, did she see you put Shanann in the truck? So she was kind of following you? Okay. So she followed you and you put Shanann in the truck. Yeah. And then what?
Cece wasn't up yet. She was just in her room. She was getting ready to get out of her bed. And then they were just walking around the house. Put my lunchbox and stuff in the truck, and then grab the kids and put them in the bench seat in the back.
Okay. So Shanann, is she kind of on the floor in the back? And they're just on the bench. Okay. And both alive at that point. Okay. Is there any reason you would feel uncomfortable to tell me that they were not alive at that point?
There wasn't a video or anything.
It's hard to see.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear. Thoughts build up until I can't feel. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
29 episodes ago, about 3 weeks ago, we started our review of the phone data. We are about to finish it. We started in the last week of July, even though it actually initiates at the end of May. There is virtually no phone data for August 16th, but that shouldn't be surprising. Watts had been arrested by then. Kessinger was being questioned all day that day, and we're going to play that telephone interview in a moment. And Shanann was no longer around. Shanann was deceased. Also, Kessinger cut Watts off on the Tuesday. And so this is the penultimate entry into the 50-page phone data review. 12:39 hours, Michael Fesperman, that's a name we haven't even heard before, sent a message to Watts. I don't think you will see this, but I hope you find peace in your struggles and pray that you will find God and have mercy on your soul. As news broke of his confession and arrest, Shanann's phone received desperate messages from her friends and loved ones, like Eddie. Need you here. I want you to know you are literally my right hand. I can't do this without you. Before we get to the rest of this analysis for August 16th, if you're finding this series worthwhile and you'd like deeper analysis, even deeper analysis, well, there's bonus content available. The Kessinger Tapes. There's a 15-part Atkinson Transcripts series, a 5-part series called Cindy's Blitz about Chris Watts' mother, and then also the Lindstrom Interview Series. I've also got Silver Fox available as a complete audiobook narrated by me. That's the last book in this series. essentially my last book on the Watts case. That's an audiobook narrated by me. I'll put links to all of those in the description. If you find this analysis worthwhile, interesting, please do hit the thanks button and let's continue. So we are on August 16th. You may remember that Shanann's body was actually removed from the dirt at just after midnight, first thing that morning, 5 minutes past midnight. Search efforts for the kids would resume that Thursday morning, and even though the location, Watts had identified where to look for the remaining bodies, it took until midday the next day, midday and even later than that on August 16th, when the first small form was retrieved from the tank marked C, and several more hours before the second small form was removed from the tank marked B. It basically took the authorities almost 36 hours just to remove their bodies, even after Watts had clearly indicated where they were. It does make one wonder, if Watts hadn't confessed to putting the kids in the oil tanks, how long it would have taken to find them. Because even today it beggars belief what he did. So Celeste Watts was removed at 1540 hours and Bella 1750 hours, around about 2 hours after that. The CBI cleared the scene at the Anadarko site at Survey 319 at 1840 hours on August 16th. Now, although we are skipping ahead, I think since we have just dealt with interrogation, the success to some extent of it, albeit briefly, it's worth examining, I think, what Watts said about it much later when he was re-interviewed. Although the interrogation to a large degree was successful, I mean, they basically got him to make two major concessions. Even the investigators wanted to think critically about how they could have done it better. And so this is what was brought up when he was re-interviewed. So let's have a look at that. With regard to what we could have said in order for him to have told us the truth during his interview at the Frederick Police Department, I think what they mean there is been more truthful, gotten more out of him. When he was in the interrogation room, he was nervous. He knew he did something wrong and knew we were going to find out. In this regard, he said he has watched enough TV shows but never talked to a police officer in the past. He struggled with the horror of knowing what he did and trying to tell someone else about it. He didn't even want to admit to himself what he had done. He knew what he did was horrific and how much it would hurt other people, so he was ashamed, right? He couldn't admit to himself that he had done it, so he couldn't admit it to the police. He believed if he wasn't asked about Shanann hurting the kids, it may have come out a different way. He believed if we would have lied and told him that we saw the video of the kids in the truck, you heard him reference that briefly, he would have told us the truth. He asked to talk to his dad because he wanted to tell him he loved him and that it was probably the last time he would see him outside of a cell. He felt like the interviewers leaving the room from time to time gave him time to stew, and this was a successful tactic. Now, if you think about that, that is actually quite astonishing, that the strongest element, the best tactic, was actually not talking to him. He had never seen the picture before of his two girls, which we showed him during the interrogation. He also felt that was a good tactic. He had never seen Celeste wearing the white dress in the picture. The picture of Celeste and Bella we showed him may have come from when they were in North Carolina. Showing him pictures, right? Again, that's a non-verbal thing. Showing him pictures of the girls during the interrogation definitely got in my head. So probably felt quite guilty about that. He didn't show emotion when we showed him the picture because he is the type of person to hold it all in and not show emotion. Now, a major development on the 16th was the first recorded interview with Nicole Kessinger. They had spoken to her earlier, but that wasn't recorded. This one was. So let's listen to that for a moment.
Okay, can you speak up just a little bit so the recorder, I know you're tired and you're stressed, and we won't be here any longer than we have to be. You've already had a conversation with people before. You came here on your own free will to talk to us. We picked you up at your request and brought you here. You can get up and leave at any time. You don't have to talk to us. If there's a question you don't want to answer, don't answer it. If you don't want to talk anymore, just tell me I want to leave. And I'm kind of in the way of the door, but You're not being you're not being interrogated as a criminal suspect. We're here to understand your relationship with Chris and what you know about Chris and his family, and events relating to Chris Watts. And do you know him as Chris or Christopher?
Either one.
Okay. So the phone number that you reached him on, can you tell me what that number was?
I think I deleted that out of my phone too. I just like cut him out of my life. It's a 910 number. You guys have it.
Well, we gave it to Mark yesterday.
Yeah,
So
I probably
he'll
have it,
have
but
it.
just in case.
I don't have it
If I
anymore.
recited it to you, would you know it?
Just the first three numbers.
But you know it as a 910 number?
Yes, that's what I do know. I mean, that's what I've got.
North Carolina or something.
That's
North
what it
Carolina.
is.
Okay. So let's just start with like a timeline of your getting to know Chris, how you guys met, where you met, all those things. And let's just run. And I'm not going to ask you specific questions unless I think it's necessary. I'll let you just tell me your story. I think it's a little bit easier that way. So I just want to know how you met him, where you met him, how long you guys were dating, and those kind of things initially.
Okay. I think I met him sometime in June, probably early June. It might have been May. It was just talking at work. It was pretty casual. And he didn't have a wedding ring on his finger. And every time I talked to him, he didn't tell me that he was in a relationship. He didn't even mention his kids right away either. And then one day he told me that he had 2 kids. I was like, that's pretty cool. And started telling me about his kids.
That sounded like a sarcastic comment.
No, I thought it was kind of cute. I was like, oh, he's a dad. It was like right around Father's Day too. So whenever that is in June.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm not good with holidays.
he told me he had kids, and then it was Father's Day shortly after
Okay.
that. So that's what I do know. And I was like, I thought it was cute. And then he's telling me about him. He's pretty excited about him. And then he mentioned that he did have a significant other. And then he told me that those 2 were in the process of a separation.
Did he mention the children's name or his significant other's name?
I didn't know his significant other's name for a while. And then I think he told me his kids' names pretty quick, but to be honest with you, on an exact date of when that happened, I don't know.
So in May and June, first of all, where do you work?
I work at Anadarko Petroleum Corporation. I'm contracted to Anadarko Petroleum Corporation
Okay, and you work out of an office setting where?
in Platteville, Colorado.
Okay. And Chris also works out of that location, per
Yes.
se.
Yes. He's in the field, but he comes into the office with his team.
So you work, what is your job responsibility?
I do health, safety, and environment.
Okay, so you work in the office and you take care of health safety for, Anadarko is an oil and gas company, right?
Yes.
So you're doing health safety in the office and Chris works in the field
Yes.
as a, what kind of job does he do?
He's an operator, so I don't know like all of his daily duties, but he's a field operator, so he works with like the oil wells.
So he goes out and does work on those, whatever
Yes.
that work might be. But he comes into the office frequent.
In the
or-
mornings, his team meets in the mornings. They're not all in there every day. Some days, some of them are in there. Some days, other ones are in there. But in the mornings, typically from like 6:15 to probably 7, somewhere around there.
And is that where you met Chris?
Yes.
Take us through kind of a little bit of the early part of how he courted you or you courted him. I don't know which one happened. How you guys got to know each other.
I guess we just started talking. He actually, so part of my job is to manage the gas monitors that we have. So Anadarko requires all of their field personnel to carry like gas monitor sensors for toxic gases, and it's my job to control the inventory, any issues, anything like that. And we were having some pretty serious like equipment issues, and we had numerous amounts of people coming in my office one day, and he happened to be one of them.
Well, I'm not going to take it further than that. I do want to observe that it's fascinating how just in the first minute or so, the gravitas fluctuates from her being very down to kind of quite bubbly and almost laughing just about a minute later. I think that is quite interesting. But we'll deal with the rest of her interview in the next episode. Thank you for listening. Look out for those links in the description, and I'll see you guys next time.